What is up, my veggies? My name is VTR, and welcome back to another video. And today I want to talk about how January kind of sucks for YouTubers. There are multiple aspects of this. The main one that most people know is the fact that ads aren't as good in January because, like, the advertisers spend up all their money for the holiday season, and it's not as good in January. So that's why a lot of YouTubers kind of take breaks in January. And that's the big one, but one that there's more that I've noticed. I've noticed this. I noticed it about 2 years ago. And I've seen it happen again this year and last year. And so January is kind of a dry spell. I noticed it on my channel. Like, my channel obviously isn't big, isn't huge. But I know when stuff is doing weird and, like, the channel's having a dry spell, which I've had dry spells on the channel before where I get like less views than I normally would. And this is, I'm gonna make it clear, this is not me complaining this or anything like that. It's just me wanting to talk about this subject and everything. But I've noticed this recently, and I've noticed this recently, and January is like, not a lot of foot traffic to YouTube in January, because most people are like going back, getting off their Christmas breaks and going back to college, school, or whatever's going on for them. And that's kind of what's happening there, and not as much people are watching. YouTube is a big factor there, and like YouTube also doesn't push out content as much as they do in January as they do any other time. I've noticed this with, like, not just my channel but other channels. I like, and smaller channels are the ones that are affected by it the most. But I've noticed, I've looked at people's channels, I'm like, oh, these videos don't get as much views as something released in December or November or whatever. And it's something I've been wrestling with in my head for the past couple of days when I realized this. Like, I was wondering, like, why? And I remember, like, people talking about, oh yeah, January is kind of a bad time for YouTubers. But I always just thought about the ad side of it. But now I'm seeing, like, it's a lot more than that. It's not just the ads. So that makes sense why a lot of YouTubers now take the first month off, because, like, ads suck, views aren't as good and everything, and there's not as much foot traffic to their channels and everything, and it's actually kind of interesting when you think about it. Also, it's just it sucks too. It definitely sucks, and I think most YouTubers on the platform that know about this feel that January issue, for lack of a better term. Personally, I think January is not the best time for YouTubers, obviously, because of this. And like I said, I didn't understand why people would go on months, a whole month hiatus, and then come back in February the longest time. But now I know. Like, I didn't really think about it that much. I knew about the whole, like, I've heard about it being, like, bad for YouTubers in January. And I knew about the ad thing, but I didn't really notice the other stuff till now. And, well, I realized there was, like, a dry spell. Like, the only video that I can say did, like, really good, the only time I had a super good video in January was the Mean Girls soundtrack reaction I did last year, which I think the reason why that did so well is because I released that right around the release of the movie. So, obviously, there was more foot traffic because of that. But typically, from what I've seen from my channel and other channels during January, there's not as much foot traffic, and there's not as much views coming in and everything. I'm not, like I said, I'm not just talking about me. I'm talking about other channels and everything. See, I'm not really complaining or anything because I do YouTube for fun to begin with. It's not really something I'm worried about or anything. But it was just something interesting I thought that I could talk about and discuss. Now, with that being said, it still sucks, regardless. This being on this platform for almost 12 years. We're coming to 12 years, by the way, guys. That's insane to me. Like, we've been doing YouTube for almost 11 years now, or almost 12 years now, and that's so crazy to me. But that's a topic for another video. We'll get to that when that gets around. But yeah, I thought it was super interesting to just bring this up and talk about it, and because I thought it was super interesting, and also a little upsetting for people, because and I just want to talk about how I finally noticed this more and everything, because it's an interesting thing, and it's also a little devastating, and also it's like, I don't know what. Like I said, I'm not complaining. It's just I noticed this and I wanted to talk about it. And apparently tons of people have known about this before I have, and it's interesting to even think about, because of just, you notice the dry spells on YouTube around this time and everything, and I've noticed it, and it's like that every year pretty much, because so it's interesting to say. Nonetheless, it is an interesting and crappy situation, and I understand now why a bunch of YouTubers take January off, why they don't upload in January. But here's the thing. I'm still uploading to January. I'm literally uploading this video. I've uploaded every day this month so far. And I'm trying to keep that streak going. But I realize YouTube is just one of those platforms that this happens on. I don't know if this happens on any other platforms in January. There's like dry spells or anything like that. I don't know. I don't frequent those other platforms enough to know. But obviously YouTube is something I've been doing for almost 12 years, and I upload almost every day. I take some breaks and everything, and I miss some days of uploads and everything. But for the most part, I've kept a consistent upload for the past few years, and it's like I said, it's interesting. It's interesting that this is what happens, and it sucks. It does suck. It sucks for people, especially people who need the ads to make as this is their job and everything, and then people just like getting disappointed by their view count or videos not being pushed out. But that's also been like a YouTube problem as well. It's like YouTube's algorithm is one of the most Wild West things. Like, you never know when the algorithm is going to shift, or it's just not going to work in your favor, or any of that stuff. That's why I don't like YouTube's algorithm. I don't. But I still love uploading to this platform and everything, and it just sucks that January is like just a dry spell. But most of the time of the year, I don't really ever, like, I'll notice like I'll get like maybe a week dry spell sometimes. But for the most part, my channel does okay, all right, by my channel standards. Obviously I don't get hundreds of thousands of views. But that's fine. That's not why I do YouTube to begin with. I do YouTube for entertainment and everything. But this put a new perspective on YouTube in January for me. And it was definitely something I was wanting to talk about and everything, and see what people thought about it and everything. It's also been a little bit since I normally sit down videos, so I figured I'd give you guys one for the start of the year. Well, little starting to the year. But that's really all I've got to say about this, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed this this video, and let me know what you guys think of the situation down in the comment section below. And I will see each and every one of you guys in the next one. Bye.